Hello there, guys. Glad to see you watching another video of mine. Welcome back to the Pride. And today is your preview of the Slavia Prague versus Chelsea game, second leg, Europa League. And yeah, what can I say? This is a game that is a must win. I don't see us not going through. I'll be very shocked if we don't go through. We have the away goal, so that would mean Slavia Prague has to score twice against us. And even though we haven't been the greatest team this season, let's just be honest, we have been the best team or most consistent team this season. But I'm pretty confident that we can get a result at the bridge because you know, if this was us having to go to Slavia Prague, I would be a little bit more, pragmatic, a little bit more conservative in my confidence. But I'm pretty confident that we can go and at least not lose today, right? I mean, you never know with Chelsea. Let's get straight into it. Starting with the starting lineup that I believe Sarri is going to go with Rudiger being out. We still don't know the extent of his injury. We do know it's a knee injury, but we don't know how long he's going to be out. It does look pretty significant, but I don't know. I can't. We still can't give you a timetable because nobody has come out and said, what exactly, how long he's expected to be out or anything. So he might be out for the rest of the season. He might not. He might just miss the next 4 or 5 games, or 3 or 4 games, and make the last 2 or 3. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that. I will try to dig in more into that to find out more for you guys. But that does mean that Christensen will start, which is great. I think that he needs to get game time now. Alongside David Luiz, Aspilicueta. Even though I wouldn't be upset if Zappacosta did start because we do have to play I think Burnley Sunday, and then we play United the following fixture is United. So hopefully we can get a result against Burnley as well. I still, even though the chances of us qualifying for Europa League or Champions League due to getting into the top 4 is very slim because they have a game in hand. I still want to pursue that because at the end of the day, you want to give yourself a chance, right? You want to give yourself the biggest chance to qualify for the Champions League in our situation, right? So, especially with Tottenham possibly losing Saturday. Now, if you haven't watched that game yesterday, that has to be the greatest game I've ever witnessed as a human being, right? You had everything. You had the goals. I'm talking about the Manchester City versus Tottenham game yesterday. If you haven't seen it, I'm sorry for you. If you were at work or you had to go pick up the kids from school, I don't know. If you didn't go see that game, I feel bad for you because that was the greatest game I've ever witnessed, and it was heartbreaking because VAR. Just imagine if VAR was around when we were dominating. When we had that mishap with Barcelona in 2009 when they kept when it was a handball and it wasn't a penalty, and the referee was a complete disgrace. Drogba said it. He said, "Fucking disgrace," right? So just imagine, guys. That like I said, they had everything, and Yeon Son, world class, right? World class player. I hate the fact that he's a Spur because he's just so great, and I've been preaching that they play better when Harry Kane is not on the pitch. For some reason, I don't know what it is, and I see natural leadership ability qualities in Yeon Son. He galvanized that team and helped them get a result, the proper result. And to see, I noticed and in real time when I was watching the game and Manchester City looked like they got the winner, Sterling got the winner. I was like, I think Aguero was offsides, and then they showed the replay. I'm like, oh my god, he was offsides, and they didn't even check VAR. And I was just laughing my ass off, right? Because Tottenham got screwed. And I was like, yes. I was having banter. And then the commentators were like, oh no, it's ruled a no goal. And they show the replay. And I'm like, yes, he was offside. I actually did catch it. He was actually offsides. And it was like, wow. Imagine if we had that when we were dominating and we had Frank Lampard and Terry and those guys. We probably have at least one more Champions League trophy. At least, right? But that's just, or even if you want to go international, when Frank Lampard scored that goal, even though they got goal line technology now, when he scored that goal against was it Germany? I forgot who it was against, but he scored the goal and it went past the line when it came back out and ruled it a no goal. Imagine, man, VAR it completely changed the game, and it's added a new layer of possible controversy now, because they have that goal with, I know they had that goal with what's his name, Llorente. In my opinion, it wasn't a handball. It hit his hip, and even if it was the slightest of touches. Like, come on, man. It didn't even, in my eyes, when I seen it, it did not look like he had actually touched the ball with his arm or hand, and I think that would have been harsh if he had taken it away. That's why even the referee couldn't even come into a decision, because it was a hard decision. He was like, I don't know. And in my opinion, if you can't come to a definitive decision, then their first call, the original decision has to take precedent, right? So yeah. Anyways, guys, this is turned to a match review of the Tottenham game. I just had to talk about it, because that has to be the greatest game I've ever witnessed. As a neutral, it was fun to watch. I had no gains from it either. Manchester City lost, and they didn't win the quadruple, because I really don't want Manchester City to win the quadruple. I feel like the media has really wanted City to win that, and yesterday it was satisfying to not see them win that. So hopefully Saturday they come and win. I think Tottenham have the benefit, because they have the emotional advantage Saturday. So hopefully City can still come in and get a result and help us out a little bit, so we can have a little bit of hope, glimpse of hope, just in case we don't make it and win the Europa League. I do believe this team is good enough to make it to the final of the Europa League. But then again, finals aren't easy. Finals are 50-50, as you can tell with the Manchester City game. Our best performance of the season, and we were robbed, in my opinion, because I still believe to this day Eden Hazard was not offsides. And this is why, if VAR is going to be a thing, I hope that it's more consistent, because you see when we played Tottenham in the Carabao Cup, right? Harry Kane was offsides. They allowed him to finish the play and score, and then they checked to see if he was offsides or not. That was the original rule. The referees are told, do not raise the flag until the play is finished, and then raise the flag, and then you do the VAR check. The following fixture, when we progress to the final, right, against Tottenham, Manchester City, during that Manchester City game, when Ruben Loftus-Cheek did a wonderful flick-on pass to Eden Hazard, he was clearing on goal. They immediately raised the flag when they know that's not the rule, that's not the protocol that they're supposed to do. They're supposed to allow the play to finish. Eden Hazard should have, if I was Eden Hazard, I would have continued and scored. And then they would have to check, right? Because that's just, and that's why ever since then, especially if you watch the Manchester City game versus Swansea, right? Swansea City, and how they robbed them of 2 goals that shouldn't have been getting. Well, 1 goal was offside that they didn't even take back, because apparently the Manchester City game had no VAR, but the Manchester United game had a VAR. Like, that's what I'm talking about, consistency. It has to be consistent. And then they get a penalty that shouldn't even have been a penalty. So they got 2 goals. They were down 2-0, and they got 2 goals back, and they wound up beating Swansea City, right? And I just want more consistency, because if that's going to be the rules in place, then make sure that everybody knows what are the set rules for VAR, and we can go off that. Because I think there's a lot of confusion, especially on my part. I don't truly understand VAR or what it helps and what it does to help out the referee. If it's arbitrary. I can't think of the word. If they can pick and choose when they use it, it should be every single time, right? It should be a protocol that they have to go through in order to, Guys, I went on a little bit of a rant, a little bit of a ramble instead of a preview. So, where was the starting lineup? Okay, obviously Emerson has to play, and there's been reports of him possibly going to Milan. If that's the case, man, I'm not down with that. I wanted Emerson to stay at Chelsea, because I've seen the improvements, and I think he has potential to be a world-class left back. He's gradually improved. He's starting to look, like I say, he's starting to look like the old Emerson that was rated the top two, maybe even the best left back in the Serie A, right? I'll be hurt if he goes and Alonso stays, right? That would be some. And the thing is, Alonso recently signed a contract extension, so it's looking like that. And I pray Chelsea don't do that because I'm sick and tired of those inverted runs. It only works with Kyle Walker, and again with the the Tottenham versus Manchester City game I watched yesterday. What you noticed was Bernardo Silva was stationed out wide. Right, that's all he did. He stayed out wide, and Kyle Walker made those inverted runs, infield runs towards that, and they couldn't cope. They couldn't cope. They either had to collapse in to support the center backs, the center halves, right, and stop the inverted run from Kyle Walker, and leave Bernardo Silva out wide by himself, isolated, so he can receive the ball and cut inside, or put in a first time cross for maybe Sterling or somebody else to make a back post run and a tap in. They scored 3 goals like that yesterday. One was disallowed because one was the goal that we thought was the game winner, right, from Manchester City. But it was ruled out. They scored 3 goals like that yesterday. But it doesn't help when Marcus Alonso does it because 1, he can't cross the ball. 2, he can't beat a defender, right? He's horrible at beating defenders or anybody with the ball. And I think I just think Emerson's the better left back. Marcos Alonso needs to go. Just because he scores a free kick error now and then, that's not good enough for me. But obviously, I believe Loftus-Cheek has to start. And another thing about Loftus-Cheek, I've seen people slating sorry about that. Once again, I have to point out he's not fully fit. He's not fully fit, right? If he starts Thursday, he really can't start Sunday or whenever. I think it's Sunday that we play. He can't start Sunday because his fitness is not there yet, right? And I think that we have to put all our eggs into the Europa League basket because it's looking less likely that we're gonna finish top 4. And with Tottenham, I pray Tottenham do not make it to the final and win the final. Well, that would be hell if Tottenham won that Champions League, right? I mean, we don't want that. We don't want that. I don't want that. Nobody wants that. So hopefully they blow it against Ajax, who is Ajax. They're legit, and I wish that Ajax and teams like Ajax that your teams like Ajax and Benfica, the teams that really have great academies that build these players from their academy. I wish they would stop selling them to the bigger clubs because they're never going to be amongst Europe's best if they always are selling their players. I wish they would just try to keep them. I know the Dutch league isn't really a top league. You always have you have 2 clubs that always compete, and that's I can't pronounce it. It starts with an F. Fenerbahce, or was that Portuguese? I don't know. It's some club, right? That was undefeated until like March of this year, and Ajax were the first team. No, it was Feyenoord. Feyenoord. There we go. It's not. Fenerbahce is like Turkish, I think, but it was I forgot the name already. Anyways, that's not what I'm talking about. I just wanted to make a point that I wish that clubs like Ajax and even Monaco, they sold Mbappe and all those players. I wish they keep those core players there, right? Even though it's hard to do that, it's hard to resist a lot of money that these clubs are throwing at them, right? Because they can invest in the youth, and they believe in their youth system that much that they're willing to let those players go and build another batch of players, right? But hey, hopefully Ajax can do a job against Tottenham. Back to my preview again. I keep getting sidetracked because yesterday was a great game, a great day for football fans. It had everything. Obviously Hudson-Odoi has to play and Hazard has to play because, like I said, we have to prioritize the Europa League, put all our eggs in the Europa League basket, and try to get Champions League that way because I don't see us finishing top 4. Not with them having a game in hand. All the other clubs that are competing for the top 4 have a game in hand. Arsenal had 2 at one point, but they played Watford Monday, so yeah, that happened. They got lucky and got a goal. So Higuain has to start. The Ronaldo of the Europa League has to start, and he also made a comment that if he doesn't get game time, he has to think about his future. He has to leave. So as of right now, I think Higuain, I think not Higuain, but Giroud is a better striker right now for us than Higuain is. I don't know what it is about his fitness level. He's just not strong enough. And at the age of 31 or 30, or however old he is, he's not gonna really be motivated to work on his fitness, to rededicate his body and try to learn new stuff. Right? He's 31 years old. What he is now is what he's always going to be. He doesn't seem, he's a very, I don't want to say lazy striker, but he doesn't waste his movements. He doesn't constantly move, in and out, in and out. He kind of makes his runs sparingly, right? Even when he noticed that Marcus Alonso or somebody about to cross the ball and he doesn't look like he's about to attack the ball. And look, anyways, guys, that's been your preview. I was hoping that it would be a whole lot shorter than this, but hey, it's whatever. Hey, catch the live stream. We're going live today, so if you want to tune in, we can watch the game together. Up to Chelsea, and let's go to the semifinals, because I'll be damned if we don't make Champions League football, especially if Tottenham make the semifinal and we don't make the semifinal, if we don't win the Europa League, I have a problem. Up to Chelsea.